20 seconds to go.
Hello and a very good afternoon to our viewers from home and wherever you are. Welcome to the NTU University Scholars Program panel as part of the NTU Open House 2021. And in this session, we'll be discussing and giving you a sneak preview of what NTU-USP has to offer. This panel is titled NTU-USP Gave Me Opportunities and Growth. This is part one of a three-part series and in this part, you have a chance to hear from our core faculty as well as our very own NTU-USPians about what student life is like beyond the curriculum. I'm your host, Seong Hang, and also known as Pai, and I'm joined today by quite a few guests on the panel. First up, we have Dr. Geraldine Song, who is a core faculty member and Assistant Director for Academics. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
We have Dr. Christina Chuang, who is a core faculty member as well and the coordinator for student life. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have Shantini, who is a year 3 student studying sociology. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We have Wen Shu, who is a year 2 data science and artificial intelligence student. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
And last but not least, we have Xian En, who is a year 2 student from accountancy. Good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
So throughout today's session, you can send in any burning questions about student life via our Slido. Simply head over to slido.com and use the event code #V396. Once again, #V396. You can also see the Slido details right now on your screen. You can also join our Telegram channel at NTU-USP OH21 for more updates about what NTU-USP is up to during this admissions period. So, without further ado, let us begin with a few questions. So let's just start off with questions for our core faculty members. What are some of the student-led activities that you oversee, and how has your experiences been so far? Perhaps we could start off with Prof. Christina about your, because you do run, of course, student life. So,
yeah, I took over this year actually.
Okay.
So most of the time I look through the proposals and see what sort of activities they want to do. This year I think it's been challenging because of COVID-19 restrictions, but I've come up with really creative cooking lessons. I'm trying to think off the top of my head. But I think a lot of like active sort of events and things like that. I think there was also one where they were talking about American politics. I remember that one was very interesting, where they were looking at how news is being portrayed in the US. So it's a really nice mix of sort of heavy on the academic side, as in, you're discussing serious, heavy issues, but you also have very light activities like cooking classes and stuff like that.
Yeah, we do have a wide variety of activities, and one of the activities that we do have is also US Presents, which is an annual theatre production that is also, led by our very own NTU-USPians, and Dr. Geraldine Song is quite heavily involved as well. Would you just talk us through roughly what US Presents is about?
Thanks, Pai. I really like to be involved with the US Presents. Actually, I've been involved, and 2 of our students here as well. And I think it's in its 4th year. I think so, something like that. Yeah. So I don't really do much because it's student run actually. So I just hang around, look at the script. Yeah, I'll look at the script, and then one of my favorite things is to do the workshop. Yeah. Perhaps maybe I could call on Shantini to share with you all about the workshop.
Okay, yeah. So I was actually a part of one of the student-run productions in my 2nd year, so last year. So Prof G, she really helps us like workshop our characters. So for example, when we are given a character, sometimes when we read the script, we don't really know how to like, relate to the character. So Prof G walks us through that. We have some fun activities that we do together. She'll like make us think of, like what is the character doing, like who are the character's parents, who's the character's best friend. And some of these things you're sometimes like, why is she making me do this? But then actually it really helps bring the character together, and I think it really helps in our portrayal of the character as well.
Thank you everyone for sharing. So, as mentioned earlier, if you did attend our talk earlier, if not, even if you missed it, I'll run you through it right now actually. We do have a student club and it consists of 6 subcommittees. We have Arts, Cultural and Social Affairs, which is ACSA. We've got Alumni, Career and Student Outreach, which is ACSO. Academic and General Affairs, or AGA. Business Managers, or short form BizMag. Publicity and Public Relations, or PUBs for short. And Social Service Projects, or SSP. So there's a lot of acronyms going on right now, and I'm sure you're very confused over what exactly they mean. So I guess I'll just throw the panel down to the 3 of our NTU-USPians over here, and perhaps they could describe to the audience here what subcoms you're involved in or you have been involved in before, and tell us a bit more about the kind of activities and the experiences you've had so far. So perhaps we'll start off with Sian Ng over there.
Yeah, sure. So I'm currently the director of the Business Managers portfolio. So what my subcom actually does is we coordinate the external liaison efforts with our corporate partners to bring in opportunities for our student community. So this can be ranging from like getting sponsors for exam welfare pack, or we are also working with like companies to actually get priority internship placements for our students. So lots of exciting things going. I think last year I was also involved in the Alumni, Career and Student Outreach group. So I actually helped to organize the Career Week sharing series, where we actually brought in our seniors to share about their experiences in the working world. So yeah, these are the 2 I've been involved in so far.
Oh, so for me, I was in ACSA last year, and I actually was the co-IC of a back-to-school event. A back-to-school event is when we organize a dinner event for all the USPians to gather and like play games and talk to each other. So it was quite fun, and I really like these back-to-school events. And we also have many events that we allow the USPians to take part in. For example, U-Screenplays, which is when we screen a movie and USPians would come and discuss the movie together. Yeah.
Yeah.
Shanti?
I'm a very loyal member of ACSA and SSP. I've been in these 2 subcommittees for the past 3 years, and I think the reason why I'm in these 2 subcommittees is because I really enjoy the way the programs are run and like what it stands for. So SSP focuses on like social events, social services. So it seeks to like encourage NTU-USPians to like give back to the community, which I think is very important. So one of the events we plan is like an annual Chinese New Year event where we partner with an organization to actually go down and clean the rental units before Chinese New Year period. And I really enjoyed being one of the programmers for the event. And then the other subcommittee is ACSA, which plans arts-related events, seeks to encourage NTU-USPians to have an interest in the arts, as well as larger-scale social events. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing. I think that's also a good segue to kind of add on for me personally. I am currently the Vice President of the Student Club, so I do oversee all 6 subcommittees, and I just want to add on perhaps a little bit about the other subcommittees that we have. We have Academic and General Affairs, which is in charge mainly of big events like Ministerial Dialogue, which we do host on a yearly basis. And we also have things like Use Smarty Pens, which is kind of like a monthly newsletter that really promotes, as what Prof. Christina earlier actually mentioned, about US politics, or latest one was about fast fashion. So like current affairs that really gets people thinking in bite-sized kind of format, easy to read formats. And we also have like Publicity, who is in charge of pretty much quite a few things that you might see on set. Some of the photos are taken by them, and we've also got lots of publicity materials, our social media pages, and so on. So whatever you see right now is most of the efforts are coming from our PUBs team. So yeah, we do have quite a lot of opportunities here at NTU-USP Club. And I guess that's also another good segue to go and ask our 2 core faculty members here. How do you think the NTU-USP experience value add to the academic side of learning for the students? The subcommittee side, yeah.
Well, I think some of the activities, like the ones where they discuss US politics and things like that, it's very different when you discuss in a classroom with me, because I have my expectations, and then maybe the students don't feel as free to say what they want. So I think it's great that we're still discussing the same issues, but they get to run, I guess, their own way of setting up a somewhat serious discussion about a serious topic. So I think it adds to their learning experience, because they're not under like this pressure of there's a professor listening to what we're talking about. Yeah, so I quite like the fact that there's a lot of these topics that they discuss, in addition to obviously the social events. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think?
Yeah, I agree with what Christina was saying, and more than that, because the club activities that you all do go over 4 years, that makes you all closer to each other. Not that you don't mix with the rest of them, but it also hones your leadership qualities as well as the teamwork, because some of you are leaders some of the time, some of you are in a group some of the time, but most of the time you're all helping each other to with your teamwork abilities as well as the leadership abilities. So I like that very much. It contributes also to the learning journey, not just academic, as Prof. Christina was saying.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you so much for sharing. And of course, it does help that we do have quite a small committee of people. Each batch is roughly about 50 to 60 people. So it's a very tight-knit community as well. So I guess my question now is to the three NTU-USPians. Now we talk about community. We talk about kind of opportunities that we have. What are some of your best or most memorable experiences that you've had so far? Perhaps we could start from the right side of the stage.
So my favorite experience so far, there's been a few, but my favorite experience so far has been when we went overseas. So the travel overseas program, which all NTU-USPians get to go on. So it's very rare for students to be able to go overseas on their first year, but NTU-USPians get to do it. And in my year, we went to Taiwan, and it was a very fun experience. It was my first time in Taiwan, and going with friends and faculty, it was very fun. And we went there to conduct research. So when we went there, we really got to immerse ourselves into the local Taiwanese culture and really interact with the locals as well, which I enjoyed a lot. And when we came back, we got to present our findings in a creative way. And I feel like not only did it bring us closer as a batch, it also really exposed me to the skills of research, which is something I'm interested in the future. And also really opened my eyes to the world as well. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Wen-Shu?
For me, one of my most memorable experiences was the freshman orientation program in year 1, where we managed to meet many friendly seniors and batchmates, and we bonded through the 3-day camp. And yeah, I think it was a very nice and warm atmosphere that I received from the USPians, and it was very memorable.
Okay, Zenan?
Actually, I would also like to talk about the freshman orientation program. So, actually, I was on the organizing com for the orientation program that we actually just ran for our freshmen this year. I had a really, really good experience because I think it was a really, really nice, warm community. The seniors really came out in force to actually make sure that we were integrated, settled in. And I think I was quite apprehensive about coming into uni at first, and the seniors were really, really nice about it. So I really wanted to give back. And through orientation, I got the chance to work with a lot of my friends from different faculties, and I think I really get to appreciate how everyone is so talented, whether it's in pubs, program planning and whatnot. It was a really, really good experience to also be able to pass on what we had to our juniors, and that is one of the fondest memories I've had.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. A lot of interesting activities, as you can tell, in NTU-USP. I guess the next question is probably also related to that, because as you've shared, we've got quite a lot of interesting activities at NTU-USP. How do you juggle between your studies and what you have in NTU-USP, be it subcommittees or the academic side of NTU-USP as well? Perhaps anyone? I'll just leave it open.
Okay, maybe I can take this one. I think we do study really hard as well. I think we are definitely students first, but I think the student club is also here for us, to really build our community and build our bonds. I mean, uni is a place for you to really go out and meet people, to experience and try lots of new things. And the club has really given us many opportunities to bond. I think our ACSA portfolio is coming out with a painting event, to help us de-stress before the exam period. My committee runs the exam welfare pack initiative, for example, and it's one of the most look forward things where we actually get to see our friends come and say, oh, thank you, and we also help to give everyone a bit of encouragement as it comes up towards the exams. And well, I think with regards to juggling, right, I think the important thing is that you're not alone in it, because you're always working as a team with your friends. So maybe sometimes when I know I have my deadlines coming, I know that, oh, my friends will definitely help me to step up, maybe pick up some of the workload, and I'll help out when they are busy in other periods. So yeah, I think it comes down to a lot of time management and knowing how to plan. But also the community support has really, really helped a lot.
Anyone wants to add
Yeah,
on?
I think he summarized it perfectly. So I think it really just comes down. You're always gonna have things to do and things like that, but I think it really comes down to what matters to you and like how you prioritize your time and how you manage all of it. If we can do it, then I'm sure everyone else can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry, may I add in something? I think you are not alone. Of course, you help each other, you know, as scholars or even with your friends outside of USP. But I find that as faculty, we ask you students, are you okay? Sometimes perhaps we reach out to one or two of you. Our MSO, our admin staff as well, are very, very concerned about our students as well. And this is not just NTU-USP. I think it's a kind of an NTU culture kind of thing where we care about you and your well-being. Yeah, so we're a good school.
Okay, so please join NTU. Please sign up. Okay. Thank you so much. Very good question. We've got quite good answers so far. So I guess we do have questions coming in from Slido. There is a question asking whether it is compulsory to stay in hall. Does anyone want to take this up?
It's okay. It's not compulsory, but we are offered hall stay. And I feel like one of the good things about staying in hall is that because all of us stay in either Crescent or Pioneer Hall, which are next door to each other, the NTU-USP community is very physically kind of close, as well, which I think it really helps, especially in your first year when you're trying to get in the hang of things, trying to blend into university. I think it's nice to have a community that that they are around you physically as well. So even though it's not compulsory, we are offered hall stay for the 4 years, and if you're able to, I would recommend all students coming on board to actually take that up. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's very important for any student actually to stay. That's why NTU offers this for the first 2 years, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. But for NTU-USP scholars, the first year is actually very important that you stay because of our core mods, especially TOPS, right? Our travel overseas, where you are together, the freshmen, and you need to be in touch with each other when when the trips are coming up and things like that, and you stay up till quite late to. Oh, I'm not scaring. I'm not scaring anybody. Fairly late. Normal late. So you are together. You can have dinner together. You bond, and with that, I think your research, teamwork, and all that comes in again. Yeah. You get quite close after TOPS and. After the first year, right, staying together?
Yeah, actually, once you and I we were in the same TOPS group, then staying in core hall was really, really good because we could just meet, we could go to the TV lounge, discuss our projects. After that, we could go and grab dinner and whatnot. So yeah, I think it's really, really nice that NTU actually allows us to stay in hall. We get to also get a bit more sleep here and there. And I think Shantini also said the community is really, really nice. So yeah, if you get a chance, I would definitely encourage you to take up the hall stay.
Okay, thank you so much. We do have another question actually. Okay, so they are asking, is it difficult to make friends considering the diverse background of people that we have in NTU-USP? Obviously, NTU-USP does take up a lot of students from different disciplines, and that's just part of the whole scholarship and program experience. So, in your experiences so far, perhaps you want to share about have you faced any difficulties in reaching out to people?
I think that precisely because we are from different faculties, it's easier for us to make friends. Because it's very interesting because we come from different backgrounds, different disciplines. We all have different perspectives on things. So after a long day of, for example, sociology, after learning about, the depressing news and all that, then I come back to hall and then I get to hang out with my friends who are from other disciplines. And the way that when I share my perspective on things, when they give me a new perspective, I'm like, hey, I didn't really think about things that way. That makes me actually feel better. I feel more knowledgeable. So I think that because precisely we're from different disciplines, it allows us to actually learn more from each other and makes our conversations more interesting as well.
Actually, for me, because I'm from a science background and I have many friends from the humanities background, so I actually connect with them quite a lot, and I really find it very interesting to find out what they think about certain issues that I haven't really thought about. Yeah, so I think I agree with what Shantini has been saying.
Yeah, and perhaps that's also a good way to ask our core faculty members as well. In your experiences, leading the classroom, teaching a class, what sort of advantages does this diversity bring to the classroom?
Well, first of all, the USP classes are so much smaller, so the chances of you actually making friends is much higher than a lot of non-USP classes where you might have 50 people, 100 people, you just go in, go out. I think USP classes are so small that it's almost impossible for you to not get to know each other. And I think Geraldine also does this. We like to mix them up during class. And so I teach the writing and reasoning very often, or the ethics. So I usually get the USP students their very first year. And usually after like a few weeks, you can already tell they have their own groups, but and they would tell me, oh, can we dress up, for Christmas and stuff like that. So it's I've never seen like batches of USP students that don't come together and become good friends. It just seems very natural, given the very small size of the classes. Yeah, it's just seems impossible. Yeah.
I'll add in this that I don't think anybody who wants to join NTU-USP will be the type to be like a wallflower. But if let's say you happen to be very shy, but you want to join us, and because you like what we are, you wouldn't be left out actually, because the group will see that you are what you are. You're quieter, and they will try to bring out the best in you, and they won't change you or anything of that sort, but you will have a very good experience out of your introverted nature. So I think the diversity isn't just which JC you are, what nationality you are, but what type of a person you are. The personality is different as well, are different as well. So that's very good for us, for all of us.
Indeed. So diversity is a very big strength of NTU-USP. We do have another question from Slido. They are asking, I read that NTU-USP offers some rather interesting modules listed on the website, such as love and sex and comedy. So what are taught in these modules, and maybe other modules as well that you find interesting, or some that you might have taught before or seen before?
So I teach the love and sex module, and these two have taken it. So I really enjoy. I was gonna say learning the class. I also learned a lot when I teach that class. So we start with romantic love. We ask, is love based on reason, or is love always irrational? And then we move on to the more exciting part. We look at erotic sex, and then we look at the ethics of sex, and we look at the politics of sex. So we talk about really serious topics actually, right? We have pornography, rape, consent, sexual objectification, but we also have interesting stuff like BDSM, non-monogamy relationships. So the last time I ran this class, we talked about sex robots a little bit. We talked about AI-human relationships. So that one, I think a lot of students enjoy that one.
It certainly is very interesting.
Would you like, you are in the class, right?
I took it last semester.
Would you like to share?
Actually, I really enjoyed it. I feel like because of just how the name of it was, I was like, wow, I'm drawn to it. I have to take it. And I feel like topics like these are usually like kind of taboo. So if I tell this to like my non-USP friends, they'll be like, oh my god, love and sex. Yeah, but I felt like because so in the class we have this thing where like circle of trust, right? So whatever we say doesn't really leave the room.
That's true.
Yeah.
What happens in this class happens in this class.
Yeah, so I feel like because of that, it allows us to actually talk freely about these kind of topics. It allows us to not only reflect on for example, what is our stance on these issues, but also what is going on in the world, and for example, what's going on within the topic. And I think it's very interesting. And what it does is really just broaden your perspective on things. Yeah.
I would like to ask you, because you were telling me just now that the elective you were taking is travels and travelers or something. Would you like to tell us more about it?
So for travels and travelers, we are learning about what tourists think and how they think when they arrive at a destination, like their preconceptions of the place, and how after they leave the place, their preconceptions might be changed. And so that is quite interesting. And we went on a Singapore tour because this year, because of COVID, we couldn't go overseas. So I learned quite a lot from the tour as well.
Yeah, that was this morning, right?
Yes.
Yeah, tell us about it. Did you go on the duck tour or something like that?
I went on the tour to Kampong Glam, which like we picked in a draw. So yeah, then I learned quite a lot about the history of how Kampong Glam was formed and the multiracial culture in Singapore, and how it isn't very rare. It is very rare for a country to be so multicultural. And yeah, I was actually quite impressed by it. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone wants to share another interesting mod that you've taken so far?
Oh, all right, everyone's looking at me. Okay, I haven't really taken any of the electives yet because I've opted to clear the courses for my core modules first. But one thing I'll perhaps like to touch on again is the Travel Overseas Program for Scholars, or what we know as TOPS. So my batch, we actually went to Laos, Luang Prabang, and what my group researched on was we did a social research project on gender roles. So we found out that actually women actually control the finances of the family over there, and we thought maybe this would actually change what it means, in terms of when we talk about gender equality and whatnot. And we really learned a lot. My group faced the challenge where we had to change our research project halfway, our research topic halfway. But I think this is all part of the process, and it's really, like Shantini said, it's so rare for us to get this opportunity to go overseas and learn. And on a trip, you really you're not there as a tourist. You're really there to learn something, and you start to take note of small things along the way. When you walk through the night market, we tend to notice more of the store owners were actually females and not males. This is something I think I would not have noticed when I was on a normal holiday, just walking through a night market. And it's been one of the most enriching and cherished experiences I've had so far in USP.
Okay. Thank you very much. I would like to combine two questions into one here, so pardon me if my phrasing is a bit off. What majors do you guys take, and how does it integrate with your major? Have you faced any difficulties so far in, obviously juggling or, so on?
Okay, everyone's looking at me now. So I major in sociology, which is the study of various segments of society. So I feel USP programs, being interdisciplinary in nature, have been nothing but complementary. Yeah, because for example, I've taken modules related to, for example, gender discourses. I've taken modules related to sexual love and sex, sexual relations. Yeah, so for example, all these modules kind of link perfectly with what I study in sociology about gender norms, about familial relationships, different kind of relationships. So I feel if anything, it's equipped me with even more various perspectives that I can actually bring to my discussions in sociology as well. And even in the first year, we take a writing and reasoning course, which actually helped a lot because all I do in sociology is write essays of various kinds, and it is something that really I benefited from as a student, because I felt it gave me an edge over other students as well. Yeah.
For me, my major is data science and artificial intelligence, which is quite rare in USP because most of the students are not from an engineering or science background. But I would say that the experience has been quite fun. So after a day of math and coding, I will come to USB class and listen to essays and talking discussion about various issues. And yeah, I think essay writing hasn't been my strength. But then I learned quite a lot from researching to write about the essays and eventually finishing the essay, and I feel very accomplished when I do that. Yeah.
Okay, so I guess it's to me now, right? I'm a accountancy student, so I think in my major we look at a lot of technical terms like how do you prepare financial statements, what are the financial reporting standards. But I think it's quite similar to Wensu. USP classes are a refreshing break from what I normally do in school. It's really, really very different. In my year one when I took ethics, we'll come in and debate things like the trolley problem. And in my writing and reasoning, our WR class, we learn how to write essays. And while I may not write that many essays for my course, I think it's definitely a very important skill to know how to write well, how to actually phrase your arguments well. And these are skills that you will definitely be able to use when you go out to work, when you go out to internship. And even though I wouldn't say there's a direct relation like maybe what Shantini says, it has definitely helped to complement me. I've learned to become more confident. I've also gotten to see a broader perspective. Get to hear from what people from different courses actually think about the same subject, and it's really useful when you actually go out to work and network with people. Yep.
Yeah, and so I think like in general, the curriculum does give you a little bit of breadth from your normal major, and I think especially for students who are studying a bit more like numbers and all that, I think when you are in NTU-USP, you're more comfortable with like ambiguity, you're more comfortable with debating, reasoning, talking to people, and really making sure that your ideas are sound. And I think these are skills that perhaps not so much are directly relevant, but I think these are soft skills that are very good to have, especially in the workplace. And I think a lot of my fellow panelists are shaking their heads and they are very much agreeing. So yeah, that's one thing that NTU-USP curriculum does afford. Okay, up next we do have another question. What is one important skill that you've learned in your time as a subcommittee member? This question is for our NTU-USPians. Just one skill. Yes, I know you guys learn many things, but just one will do. Yeah, anyone?
Okay, maybe maybe I can take this one. So like I think one skill that I've learned is like how do you actually communicate effectively with people, especially like with my portfolio, because we are rather external facing. We talk to sponsors, we talk to our corporate partners. So it's a lot about how you actually like represent yourself and you represent like our community and our club to actually bring opportunities. So like I've learned like one thing I've learned is like how to actually phrase my email messaging and whatnot to make it precise and to the point, such that when a sponsor sees this, you say, hey, this is interesting, I would like to take it further. And it's not just like writing emails, it's about how you communicate with them in person. Like we schedule Zoom calls like in COVID now. Like how do you actually represent yourself professionally with them such that they will want to continue building this relationship with you? Yeah.
So for me, what I learned was communication skills, but with my peers, because I was actually the main committee for US Presents last year, and yeah, I did most of the backstage work as a stage manager, and I had to communicate with the main committee members and also the cast and the subcommittee members. So I actually learned a lot trying to be the link between all of these different committee members and cast. Yeah.
I think one takeaway, is it takeaway?
Yeah, sure.
Oh, okay, yeah. So like one thing I really learned is to like always think of the larger society and like the importance of giving back to society. Because from like the subcommittee I joined, I realized that it's not so much about what we learn, but also what we do with what we learn. And I think that's a very like a heartening thing that has stuck with me all these years.
You're a real sociologist.
Cheers.
All right, if you've just joined us on the live stream, we've been talking all about student life at NTU-USP. So if you have any questions, feel free to submit them to our Slido. Once again, just go to slido.com and enter the event code #V396. Once again, #V396 on slido.com. You can probably see the details on the screen right now. So let's continue with some more questions from Slido. Anonymous asks, are USP students allowed to choose the overseas destination that they are interested in? So I guess this is pertaining to both TOPS and perhaps even exchange as well. So maybe anyone would like to share a bit more?
With regards to TOPS, we don't really get to choose as like year ones. We don't really get to choose. And it's a very exciting thing when it's finally revealed to us, because it's like a drum roll and are we ready? And they'll give us clues and then we'll guess and then it's revealed to us. So for TOPS specifically, we don't really get to choose, but a trust that it's chosen after a lot of consideration by the faculty and I think the planning committee as well. Yeah.
Okay, well, I guess I'll share a bit about exchange because I have actually been on exchange. For exchange, you're actually allowed to choose up to, I think, 6 universities under study abroad. Of course, this number is constantly changing. We are partnering with more universities over time, but under the NTU-USP study abroad program, you are allowed to choose from these currently 6 universities from different countries. The one that I've been to is King's College in London. So London's a very nice place, a very livable city, and so I really had a lot of fun there, learning from different majors as well. Because when you're over there, you kind of learn from not just people from different majors, but also people from different countries, because they do have quite a large population of exchange students as well. So that was really quite an eye-opening experience. So yeah, to answer your question, yes, you have a lot of choices, not just these 6 universities, but also under the OGEM program under NTU, where you have access to I think more than 100 universities as well. So there are lots of options to choose from for exchange. Of course, pending the COVID-19 pandemic. So yeah, fingers crossed for that. Okay, up next, we do have more questions. Well, okay, this one is perhaps a bit more academic. How outstanding should our results be to enter NTU-USP? Is there a minimum grade requirement? For example, you need to get C for GP or general paper. Perhaps like certain content subjects. Does anyone want to shed
Okay,
some light on
I'll
it?
take this.
Yep.
Usually when I used to go outreach to the JCs, and invariably I get this question from teachers and parents even, and I usually give this general answer: just get as many A's as you can. Never mind whether you think it's B or A or how many A's, just get as many. The reason being, and I know I sound like a parent, is because we don't know the cohort of the year. If let's say your cohort happened to be so brilliant that like 50%, let's say, get all A's, then how? So then we start to choose. I mean, we do interviews and all that. So, so if you drop a little and everybody else gets A's, and there's only X number for the scholars program all over Singapore, then you can do the math yourself, lah. So, yeah. So I do sound terrible saying that. Yeah, I just get as many A's, but that's sometimes the way it is. You feel good yourself when you work for everything that you are supposed to. I mean, I have this example. There's this student who didn't kind of really like, let's say, economics, but he thought that he just tried to ace it, and he thought it was very worth it. It's not one of our scholars, but I was in touch with this person, and so that's also his advice to you, I suppose.
Okay. Okay. All right. So up next, another question. What are some compulsory academic activities in the USB curriculum? So I guess it's more of like the year 1 core modules, because I understand there are a few changes upcoming as well. So perhaps Prof.
Yeah,
Geraldine,
I'll take that as well. For your batch, it'll be different from your friends, your seniors sitting here, because that's just the way it is, that we are changing. NTU is changing towards something else. So when you come in, whether you come in this year or for you guys 2 years from now after your army, you will still you will have 4 still. But I think the electives, the prescribed electives, will not be in 2 baskets of sciences and arts or whatever it might be. It'll just be a basket, and I think. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. I think we'll be taking 4. You take 5 now, right?
Yeah, 5.
Oh, okay, then you'll be taking 4, but those in double major, too many things on my mind. And for those in NBS, I think 2, perhaps?
3.
3? Okay, great, thank you for that. Yeah, so one of your core modules will actually be something about well-being. I can't remember. I think Prof. Christina will be teaching that. What's the title again?
It's called Living Well.
It's called Living Well, and you can see the focus of our core isn't just academic after all. It is also about well-being, living well, looking after yourself, and so that you can look after others. Yeah. Hope that answers the question.
would you like to give us a sneak preview of
Well,
Living Well?
It's actually going to be team taught by me and another colleague, but we swap the groups. That's what we're going to do, right? Yeah. I think for my side it'll be, theories about happiness, a little bit like mindfulness. So we're going to talk about Western, Eastern perspective of happiness, from the philosophical side. Whereas my colleague Becky, she's a psychologist, so she'll be doing positive psychology, so more the empirical stuff. Yeah. So that's the overall plan so far.
So yeah, still in process. But once again, a lot of exciting things to expect once you do join us. I guess on the other side as well, in terms of student club, are there any compulsory things in the first year or so on? Sinan, you want to take this?
Oh, okay. So I think this year we actually didn't make it compulsory to actually join one of the subcons, but I think almost all of our year ones actually join the subcommittees, because it's not just, you know, a way for you to like clock out CCA points or whatnot. It's really a way for you to bond with the community, to really organize events that, you know, can help to bring some joy to your friends, like even in the midst of the hustle and bustle of school. And like I think Pai has shared just now, we have a wide range of sub-communities that actually do many different things that will be able to cater to a wide variety of interests. So yeah.
Yep, so just to recap, it's not compulsory to join, but we do highly encourage it. It's a great opportunity to make friends outside of the classroom and also to really get involved in things that you're very passionate about, or if you just want to learn a little bit more about as well. Okay, we do have another question here. Will it be difficult for introverts to thrive in NTU-USP, since there are a lot of, like, you know, debates, large group discussions? Perhaps we could get one of the students first to talk about their experience.
Looks like you. I was looking at you.
Okay, why don't you take it?
Personally, I'm an introvert and quite a very introvert. So like, I don't think it's hard to thrive. Like, you just have to like, cause many of your friends will be like helping you beside you, and like you get to do presentations together in a group, and presentations are quite common. So yeah, you actually start to learn and like step out of your comfort zones. For example, like I have never done like leadership before, but I took up a US Presents leadership event, and I think I gained quite a lot from that, and also friends. And yeah, there's everybody like around you trying to help you. They're not trying to pull you down, so like you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, actually, I think if I want to add on, I think the community is a really safe space to, you know, to go and try. Like, you don't need to be afraid, and everyone's really like so willing and friendly to like help you out. Like, I was also quite shy when I come in, and I really gained a lot of confidence, because, you know, your friends really support you. Like, when you stand up in front of them to pitch your idea, they don't try and pull you down, and you know, when they give you feedback, they're really genuine about, you know, wanting to help you get better at it. So I don't think you need to be an extrovert to be in NTU-USP. In fact, we have a good mix of both extroverts and introverts, right? That is also what makes our community special in this case.
Yeah, I'd like to add something about that, because even us faculty and our admin staff are very aware of you know, students who are shy, or, you know, dare not say or, you know, express themselves. So we do look out for you, because our classes are very small. There's only about 50 or 45 of you coming in each year. So we know you quite well, so we try to bring you out, and we won't force you. The classroom is very safe, as Sinan was saying. It's small, and so it's not as intimidating as, like, you know, a lecture full of like 700 people, and you're supposed to go up there and deliver, you know, your pitch. It's not like that. So you grow with us, and as an introvert, I believe you can help the extroverts in the class to, you know, rein in their excessive enthusiasm. We all learn from each other. Yes. So we welcome you. And I want to say something additional as well, not just the introvert-extrovert thing. We have scholars also who are on the spectrum, slightly, you can't tell. We have those with special abilities as well. So we are really more diverse than just the color of our skin or the church we go to. Yeah.
Can I add something? Also, sometimes I feel like this division between introversion and extroversion might be too superficial. Like, I'm a very introverted introvert, but people tend to think I'm an extrovert, right? So it's not so much that we're looking for people who are like, oh my God, you know, I like talking around people, right? Some of the actors, like most famous actors and actresses in the world, are actually introverts. And you can be an extrovert and actually be shy. So I think it's maybe you don't have to like think of yourself as an introvert and think this is a program for just people who are very good at interacting with other people.
Yes.
I don't think it's like that.
Yes.
Yeah, I think it's a lot more fine-grained than that.
Yes.
Yeah, rather than just like, oh, I think those people are extroverts, I'm an introvert. Yeah. So.
Yeah, just be yourself.
Yeah.
Just be yourself.
Just be yourself.
We welcome everyone here once again. Yeah. So, well, I have actually quite a good question here. How does NTU-USP support you in developing your passions so we have Shantini here who does do a lot of social service, you mentioned. So do a bit of thrifting, from what I understand, and also, of course, theatre productions as well. So yeah, how does NTU-USP kind of, support you?
I guess the
that
fact that there are subcommittees like that out there, and like these subcommittees, these subcommittees are by students and for students, right? So you get to plan events that you want to plan, initiatives that you want to plan as well. So I think in that sense, it really helps us develop our passions, just because it's there for us to do what we want to do with it. So for example, if I can share, I used to love drama. I used to love performing in like JC, and when I came to university, I was a bit sad because I was like, I wouldn't really have the opportunity to do that anymore. But then I found out about US Presents, which is the student-run production, and because it's student-led, right? So you have students writing the scripts, producing and directing. Of course, it's like the support of Prof G. Yeah, so I got to perform in that in my second year, and I really enjoyed it, and it felt like I got the opportunity to pursue that passion of mine, which I had to quell for a while when I came to university. Then I guess with social service as well, being in the subcommittee for the past 3 years, I've planned quite a few events around social service as well. So one of the events we've planned is You Spring Clean, which is an annual event where we go to like rental flats and we actually clean it before Chinese New Year. So as part of the programming committee, I got to see the event from start to finish. And I feel like working with like-minded people who share the same passion is really something that really keeps you going and fuels your own passion as well. Yeah.
Okay. Anyone else wants to take this? If not, we'll just jump straight to the next one. Anything? Okay.
I think we can go to the next
Okay,
one.
we can go to the next one. We can go to the next one. It's fine. We have a lot of questions. The next question is, do you accept polytechnic graduates into the NTU-USP program? The answer is yes, we do. We do have, every batch we do take in poly graduates, and perhaps anyone would like to add on?
We would like to see more of you all actually. We've also, as faculty, been to the poly, been out to meet, for coffee or lunch with the poly people. I mean, not the students, but the people who are important in disseminating the information to you all. So we are working with them to in that sense, make ourselves known to the poly people. Yeah, because I think mostly it's the JCs, so we want to hear from you as well. We want to invite you to join us.
Yep. Okay, so we do have, I guess we'll just wrap off with one last question. I'm going to give each of the students perhaps 30 seconds. You're going to help me to sum up, what is a day in the life of a NTU-USP student like? Okay, so just a quick one. Who wants to take it first?
30 seconds.
That way.
Okay, you're going to train your summary skills here. Okay, Senam, take it.
I think it's a day where you can be really, really engaged and curious, and also like day where you can also be chill, to bond with your friends and have a good time in school. Yeah.
Okay, very concise. Wouldn't you?
I think NTU-USP student can have like many insights by talking to people from different backgrounds and majors, so you get different perspectives, and yeah.
You go to class, you have good, engaging, lively conversations. You go back, you take a bath, you meet them downstairs, and you have dinner together.
Nice.
Very good summary. Yeah. So just a disclaimer: USP classes are mostly in the evenings.
Yeah.
So we do, because of that, most of our major lessons are actually in the day, and then after that we have USP classes, and at night we actually have activities organized by our subcommittees as well. So it's a packed day, but at the same time there's a lot of time to socialize, to talk to people. Because there is another question about whether there's enough time to do other things. The answer is yes, we do. Plenty of time, and they do take up their own interests in their own time as well. So lots of opportunity here at NTU-USP. And with that, I guess that's come to the end of the sharing session today. So thank you so much to our guests for a wonderful discussion. I'm sure the viewers have learned just a little bit more about NTU-USP and its student life, and we're really excited to welcome you to the program. Do remember that you can follow us on our Telegram channel, that's at NTU-USP-OH21, for more updates on future panel discussions, Q&As, and admission processes. If you have any questions, you can also simply search NTU University Scholars Program on Facebook or at NTU-USP on Instagram. and drop us a message. Our friendly student helpers will be on hand to answer any of your questions. That's all for this panel discussion on NTU-USP Gave Me Opportunities and Growth. We'll see you again in the next part of the NTU-USP Gave Me series. Up next, do tune in to the College of Humanities, Arts and Social Sciences, or COHAS, Student Leaders Panel session at 4 p.m., where our NTU-USP Student Club President, Jia Yi, will be sharing more about the club and her experiences in NTU-USP. You do not want to miss that one, especially if you're looking to apply to COHAS and are interested to learn how it complements and integrates with NTU-USP. And with that, thank you so much for tuning in. Stay safe, stay healthy, and we'll see you again. Goodbye.